You know, with all of the different storylines that are possible this year, first of all, let me say, I know the NBA started off slow, viewership was down 40%, yada yada, all of that. The truth of the matter is, this season has been pretty good, and the playoffs are shaping up to be damn dynamic. I'm sorry. You got about 5 teams in the West that realistically could win it. I think the Lakers are out of it at this point, but you got the Timberwolves, you got the Warriors, you got the Clippers, you got the Thunder, and it would have been the Lakers, but like I said, I think they're out of it. I'm sorry. I still think the West reigns supreme over the East. You got the Celtics, the Cavs, and they're probably really the only 2 teams that could win it. I'm excited that Detroit is good again. I'm rooting for them at this point. I'm a fan at this point. I mean, a 30-game turnaround in one season. Somebody needs to do a film study, a deep dive on them and what Bickerstaff is doing over there. I'm proud of them. We like the Knicks, but the Knicks don't have enough to win, and we already know that. So the East still comes down to 2 teams. The Celtics, who won it last year, and the Cavs, can they really be taken seriously? Outside of that, this is a Western Conference. This is a Western Conference year. So for me, these playoffs have been fantastic. So I've been watching the whole season. I'm a lifelong NBA fan. I will be until I perish off of this earth. So I get the whole drop in viewership and the league ain't what it used to be and the lack of IQ and shooting threes off a fast break, which is dumb as hell. I get that. But I'm going to be honest. This has been a good season so far. But I think amid all of the storylines, I think what we really probably should be talking about, what if the Celtics and Warriors rematch in the finals? What if they that would be probably the most exciting cap to a good season. That would be amazing in my opinion. I think that would be incredible if the Celtics and the Warriors rematched in the finals. That's what I would love to see. I'm going to be honest. My Lakers are pretty much about out of it. I think they'll win game 5, lose game 6. I think if after that, I want to see the Celtics Warriors. If it's Thunder Celtics, I'll watch that. That'll be a good series. But man, Celtics Warriors, the Warriors have had the number 1 defense since Jimmy came back. I mean, not came back, since Jimmy got traded to the Warriors. They've had the number 1 defense, right? The Celtics are probably second because the Celtics have an amazing defense as well. I haven't looked up that stat. The Celtics still have the best starting 5 in the NBA. I'm not sure the Warriors can beat them unless Steph really averages 35 a game and unless Jimmy Butler swears playoff Jimmy isn't a real thing. We all see it be a real thing. I picked the Grizzlies to beat the Warriors in the play-in, and Jimmy had 38. I'm like, yeah, I didn't bet on Jimmy having. I didn't bet on him having 38. I said Steph and Jimmy needed 60 to 70. They went on and got 75. Hey man, hey Jimmy, I stand corrected, bro. You got me. Salute. Right? When you see a man, salute that man, right? But I think that's probably the most exciting storyline. And it's funny because narratives rule the NBA. And I remember when the Celtics won last year, everybody was like, they learned and they took their lumps from the series against the Warriors 2 years ago, and now they're ready. I'm like, that is not what happened. That is not what happened. The Celtics choked in 2022. They choked. They young guys. Jayson Tatum, to his credit, and he's brave, admitted the mental struggles. Am I really that guy? I like that men are having more conversations about mental and emotional health. I love it. I really do. So I knew some of that was probably going on in his mind. And to be honest, the Celtics just have a better starting 5. I said about 5 years ago, Marcus Smart needed to go. So about 2 years ago, they got rid of Marcus Smart and they got Drew Holiday from the Bucks. Excellent move. They got Kristaps Porzingis. He's the third weapon now. He doesn't have to be second or first in command. Excellent move. Al Horford, no one's talking about his longevity. No, he's not LeBron, but he's 38. He's still kicking. So they got him coming off the bench. Peyton Pritchard, who I have been campaigning for and backing for at least 2 years. 6th man of the year this year. Congratulations to Peyton Pritchard. I knew he had it in him. I could tell when he played. I kept telling my father me and my father need to do some videos. My mom keep telling me, y'all two need a podcast. But me and my dad talk sports all day. I have been saying to my father for at least a year and a half, Peyton Pritchard needs more time. This is how I know I am very gifted to talk sports. Peyton Pritchard, I said he needs more time. 6th man of the year. So I still think the Celtics have the overall better team. But you don't count out the heart of a champion, man. You got Steph, who's just Steph. When when you talk about one names in society, you say Jordan. Everybody knows who. You say Austin. You think of wrestling. Stone Cold Steve Austin. You say LeBron. We know who that is. You say Jay-Z. You know who that is. You say Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Those one names, and you just know them. When you talking about basketball, Steph. You can say Durant too. Durant. You know who it is. Steph. We don't gotta say Stephen. We don't gotta say Stephen Curry. We can just say Steph. He's one of them guys, man. He's really one of them guys. Jimmy's a warrior. He gonna talk trash. I'll never forget when Grant Williams was talking trash to him a couple postseasons ago. Jimmy went off. Hey, man, you might want to be quiet, bruh. As my father always say with some of those old school slogans, hey, man, let that animal sleep, bruh. Leave that animal sleep, bruh. You don't want to wake that one up. I do think the Warriors are missing a consistent third weapon on offense. But by and large, like, they're very much alive. I got the Warriors. I know after picking the Grizzlies to beat them, I have the Warriors beating the Rockets. The Rockets are a good team, but they're a young team. They're not quite there yet. Jalen Green isn't quite who they need him to be to really punch through yet, right? Şengün is nice, but he's not a number one guy. Şengün is, to me, kind of Porzingis-ish. If you can make him number 2 or number 3, oh, you got something. Oh, you got something. And the Rockets might be a free agent away from really being like, yo, they about to go get a title. But at the end of the day, I just don't think they have it right now. And I think the heart of a champion, you know, and I talked to my father about why the Warriors kept Draymond over like Clay. I'm like, Draymond makes defensive plays. Clay was a great two-way player, but them injuries took his legs. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. You know, so you got Draymond. He had a key block, the other game? He had a key block in game 3 near the end of the game. Big block. That's why you keep a Draymond. So they have something. They have a 3-man nucleus. But I think they honestly need somebody else on offense. And for me, I've never understood why the Warriors, something else me and my father talk about, never invested in a big. Like James Wiseman is a stretch 4. He didn't work out. He got injured and they ended up trading him in basically 2 seasons. It was a waste of a pick. Just think about it. Imagine if the Warriors had Zach Edey. Young guy, run the floor, shoot good foul shots, going to eat the glass. They need somebody like that. They've just never invested in the big man. I just don't get why. I really don't. And if they had a big man, I might pick the Warriors in 7 over the Celtics. The Celtics still got the better 5. But let me run down. I'm going to run down the 2022 series real quick, right? So we know that the Warriors won 4-2. Steph got his finals MVP, his only one in his 4 trips. I think it should be a second one, but that's a whole nother conversation. Steph averaged 31, 6, and 5. He won finals MVP. Here's the interesting part for Tatum's legacy. In 2022, the finals, Jaylen Brown averaged 23, 7, and 3. Tatum averaged 21, 6, and 7. Even in that series in the loss, Brown outplayed Tatum. Brown got the finals MVP last year, averaging 20 and 4 and 4, shooting 45%. Tatum averaged 22, 7, and 7, shot 39%. So across Tatum's 2 finals appearances, 21, 6, and 7, 22, 7, and 7. Jayson Tatum is not himself in the finals. Jayson Tatum is not himself in the finals. 2022 or 2024. This is what he needs to answer to. He needs to answer to this. All those conversations, I think I should be the face of the league. And that very calm, laid-back demeanor, he's not yet. He's missing swagger, and he's missing being the guy in the moment. The face of the league has to be the guy in the moment. Anthony Edwards just had 43, 9, and 6 trying to close out the Lakers. Got to be the guy in the moment. Jayson Tatum needs to win a title and be MVP of the finals. If he does that, we need to have a conversation about Jayson Tatum. We do. I'm being honest. Game 1 of the 2022 finals, the Celtics erased a 15-point deficit late in the third. They outscored Golden State 40-16 in the fourth. They won that game. Another notable game was game 4 in Boston. Steph gutted them for 43. I remember that game. When that game happened, I was like, yeah, the Warriors are going to win. Because you could see like an animal inside of Steph woke up. You could really see it. Game 5, Steph actually went 0 for 9 from 3. It was the first time in the last 233 games that he didn't hit a three-pointer. But because of Andrew Wiggins and Klay Thompson, they still won the game 103-90. The power of having great teammates. And then, of course, the Warriors overcame a 14-2 run, right, by the Celtics. They had a 21-0 run of their own. And Curry had 30 points. And Draymond, again, dirty work guy. 12 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. You cannot underrate that. 12, 12, and 8. It was a good series. I remember watching that series. And honestly, I remember picking the Celtics because I felt like they had the better starting five. I felt like they had the better team. But you can't underestimate the heart of a champion. So what would a title mean for either of these teams? Number one, for Jaylen Brown, if they win a title again back-to-back and he gets another finals MVP, my father's been telling me I think Brown's better than Tatum. I'm like, nah, it's Tatum. Tatum's better. If Brown wins another finals MVP after they win a second straight title, we're going to have a conversation about Jaylen Brown. I know people who don't think he's a top 10 player. I know people who don't think he's a top 15 player. If this is his second straight title and finals MVP, we got to talk about Jaylen Brown, bro. We're going to have another conversation. He's not going to be the best in the league. He ain't going to be in the conversation for facing the league. But we're going to have a conversation about Jaylen Brown. If Jayson Tatum wins his second title and he gets finals MVP, he a little closer to face of the league. He a little closer. He's going to be a little closer to face of the league. He just got to develop more swagger, more personality. His personality is flat. And he's a great guy. You can tell he's a great, kind-hearted, well-intentioned dude. Love that beautiful LMA, taking care of that baby they got together. But he don't have the pizzazz. That's why everybody's looking at Ant-Man. If you ask me who's better right now, Tatum or Ant-Man, I'm taking Tatum. But Ant-Man has the pizzazz. He has the poise. He has the presence. He talking smack. Man, I don't care about none of that. It's me. He got that. He dripping. He drippy. You feel me? That's what Jayson Tatum needs. That energy plus a title and MVP. And we need to have a conversation about Tatum if that happens. If the Warriors win the title, this is going to solidify Jimmy Butler's Hall of Fame career. I have always felt like Jimmy Butler was a super regular player. I don't care if I don't score 20 points a game as long as we win. All right, bet. That's a great team attitude, but as far as your all-time case, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you. Had a fantastic game, 5 in the bubble against the Lakers in the finals. Scored 40-some points. Completely gassed after that. Completely gassed. The older LeBron James wasn't gassed. I remember that. But Jimmy burned out. He left it all out there. You got to give him credit. Didn't play that great in the finals against the Nuggets in 2023. He was okay. He was solid. I'll give him solid. He averaged like 21, 4, and 3. Okay, cool. If Jimmy gets a championship, he's Hall of Fame. And I'm talking first ballot. Because you are not going to find many more two-way threats than Jimmy Butler. So I'm willing to put him in the Hall of Fame if Jimmy Butler gets a title. And if he somehow gets an MVP, even better. He ain't face of the league. He ain't even in the conversation for face of the league. I think he's been in the league long enough that ship has sailed for Jimmy Butler being the best in the league. But by and large, he will be instantly Hall of Fame. If Stephen Curry gets the finals MVP when they win a title this year, he will now officially have more rings than LeBron. Some of you have a hard time putting him in the top 10. I'm like, you're not going to tell me there are 10 more impactful players in the history of the sport than Steph. Stop it. Really stop it. If Steph wins a title and gets an MVP, he needs to be in your top 10, or I don't want to talk to you about basketball. I'm just being honest. I don't want to talk to you about basketball. Because at the end of the day, he changed an entire era of basketball. Now, top 5, I don't know if we can go there. Because individually, I still think LeBron's a better player. But if Steph gets a 5th title, 2nd finals MVP, doesn't that match Kobe? Didn't Kobe have 5 rings and only 2 finals MVPs? So Steph got to at least be top 10. That would be huge for Steph. That would be huge. And of course, Draymond, if he gets a 5th title, man, look, Draymond is Hall of Fame. I know some of you are like, oh, Mr. Triple Single. Look, Draymond does things you can't really measure on the court as far as like impact wise. He's mediocre on offense, excellent on defense, excellent when it comes to talking trash and getting fouls and messing with officials. But no, seriously, Draymond Green is the dirty work guy. He's the Dennis Rodman. He's the one, man. If I cared about offense more, I could average 15, 20 points. But I understand my role on this team. I understand who they need me to be. I'm not in conflict with that. I don't need any affirming from anybody about who I am as a basketball player. I'm gonna just do my job and go win. And you're gonna look at you're gonna look at Draymond's resume when he retires. You're gonna be like, man, former defensive player of the year, 5 titles. He the one had 32, 15, and 9 in Game 7 in 2016, but Steph choked. That was Draymond. Draymond showed up big in that game. Steph choked that game away. Give Draymond his credit. Give Draymond his credit. If they win a 5th title, this will be the 2nd time they won without Durant, which is going to look even worse on Kevin Durant. Phoenix finished 36 and 46 this year. Coach didn't match the team. Outside of Durant, Bill, and Booker, they didn't really have a whole lot on that roster. I really don't blame any of them. I really don't. But they need to get rid of Bradley Beal and find either a point guard or maybe even just a center, somebody who's maybe a 4. Because I think the center position is okay in Phoenix. Maybe get him a serious 4. You know what I mean? Somebody to really go, like, imagine if Phoenix could get Naz Reid from Minnesota. Oh, that'd be nasty. Even if you kept Bill, Booker, Durant, and Naz Reid. Now, Naz Reid probably not going to leave Minnesota because they have something cooking. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there, right? But I think this Celtics Warriors, I think this will be the most fun series to watch in the finals. I really honestly do. I really do. This is a very, if the Celtics and Warriors meet, this is a legacy altering opportunity.